It's Monday, June 27th. I am in this flag pattern at the moment. My son is in a building that outside of the building, the sign is posted, work in progress, government. Just saying. And it has no flag at the moment on the flagpole. It's being cleaned according to the personnel when I asked. I being the point and having a very specific lift requirement, especially now that I'm the full size of an SUV or a mid-size SUV. Again, I don't really know how to equate that one out. I fit into a helicopter. Rarely have I been, but I've been in a helicopter, just in case anyone asks.
I now have to share my studio with a fatuous twerp who shall remain nameless.
This twerp has a name, and it's August Ngutu Leibowitz Clementine.
You might know John Hodgman for his appearances on shows like Parks and Recreation and The Daily Show, or maybe as the PC in some memorable Apple commercials. This morning,
Now, I've never seen this gentleman. However, in this particular ad, I thought this was, and I forget his name at the moment, but there's a very respected person they've put in uniform on the television in the New York area. He had a walk-on part in some Larry something or other show, which I don't even know the name of that show. Lou watches it. It's not a Seinfeld, but it's a something like that. Again, this isn't my genre.
all rise, not literally, because he's a fake judge. He joins us in his fake official capacity as the host of Judge John Hodgman. It's a podcast where he settles real life disputes on topics like, is chili a soup?
No.
His ruling agreed. Gail County.
Oh, good. Okay.
No. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Verdict on that one, no.
I say no.
Although if the bun is torn and it becomes two pieces of bread, yes.
I'm just looking at Gail.
No, this Wednesday, there shall be more like this. Hodgman will host a free live justice event at New York City's Lincoln Center, and he joins us now to settle some of our own.
It's like, I'm just supposed to point. I'm not supposed to have to lift. Why is the annals of somebody else's courtroom on full display? I mean, I know how wrong they've gotten my part, but what have they done?
Own hot disputes. Judge, thank you for being here.
Good morning, and yes, please stay seated. I'm just so glad we're all awake.
Just a regular, everyday American.
That's right.
What was the process like becoming a fake certified official judge on the internet?
Very easy. I got a podcast. If anyone can
So
do
you're
it.
self-proclaimed. You're
Like
self-proclaimed.
most experts operating in America today, I am self-proclaimed.
Right. So the PhD stands for piled higher and deeper.
I have a bachelor's degree
Okay.
in literary theory. No experience whatsoever.
What should people anticipate on Wednesday?
Well,
Now, I have to say, for the words that he constructed as to his placement in society, I rather appreciate his character, because it's almost like he's untainted. And out of the entire 2-hour program, I think he has the wisest words spoken. In his compilation, or in his whatever he's bringing to the morning, whatever, for legitimacy at See the BS, he says the words in a pattern that something about it comes up within this whatever about the nuisance and annoying whatever. I guess you could call it a pet peeve where I come from in out of body experiences. Um, where it's if you leave the cabinet doors open in the kitchen, I mean, who would do such a thing? Oh, I mean, bear witness to what and why?
I and my co-host, my bailiff, Jesse Thorne, will get up on stage at Damrosch Park outside under the stars at Lincoln Center, and we'll have litigants, real live people who have had real small disputes, get up on stage and give their sides of the story. We have a wife and a wife, one of whom does not recognize daylight savings time, refuses to change the clocks, even.
All right, so if we get an out of body experience and it's not two women, but maybe it's two states in the union, or maybe it's like, what if I spin doctor it just right? I'll doctor it up. If they colostomy bag in some anal or annals of prior arguments at this college farce of ignoramus that caused some deterioration and necrosis, as far as I can see, without the precise surgical intervention that was needed in order to correct the disease process from taking state, or taking place, or growing grass in places grass. It was an astroturf. Why is there grass growing? Doesn't make sense. So if you get out of your head and it's not some really hot topic and like we don't discuss such things, right? Got that. So here's how it really goes. If I fall out of my mother in the portal she pushed me through, they call it conception and birth, into the star I arrived in, which is 1978. That's my magical, eye-opening, awoken state of events for eyewitnesses to quite an annal. Here we are, and the discussion now becomes, I liked the presentation of the elders, the Elder Scrolls. I did not like the presentation of the performance that I've been subjected to over the last 4 decades in this, whatever this is. That's real.
Even in our own car. The other wife doesn't like it.
So if they explain it as the clocks changed, and one doesn't want to change the clocks, the arguments and the context change completely. You know who might know, if he knows the whole story of how I would have fought like hell to get to him in order to back him up in like a 83 to 78 kind of a way? Star 8378. As my star 1978, one side of the joint star that we hold. I don't like how the clocks have been set here. I don't like the presentation of the clocks. I don't know who's at the watch. I don't know who created this, but I don't share a star with 76 or with 75 for the performance that they forced me to whatever through.
I appreciate this stance on principle, but it could be confusing. We have another couple, a guy and his girlfriend. He loves to take long hot baths and then lounge around in his robe on the couch for an hour afterwards. She doesn't like it.
What's wrong with that?
He's against leisure?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
I am inclined to agree with this guy. He needs to steam off after a long hot bath. She says it gets the couch all wet. I will ask questions. My suspicion is he looks like a dork on the couch in his robe.
Now,
And there's things to do.
you're supposed to be impartial, Judge John, but people listen to you on a regular basis, say whenever there's a dispute between a husband and a wife, you will rule against the husband. True?
That has nothing to do. First of all, I like all judges, I am not impartial.
Okay.
I do have leanings.
Okay.
And if anything, I leaned in favor of husbands when the show started. But I've been doing this now for many years. And I have found through data, in heterosexual couples, dudes are wrong. You're almost always wrong. I've seen the scattergraph.
I like that
They're always wrong because they've always got schemes. They've always got schemes.
Absolutely true. I like that you say you.
I cannot thank whoever put this little performance together enough for confirming my argument into the 76 and the 75 problems that I've been experiencing are something due to open cabinet doors being left open. Some really bad decision makers being allowed in some rearrangement of the cabinets while the doors were open. And me missing my star 8378 performance.
Cases that are so trivial and absurd that no one will really take this on. And I have a trivial and absurd.
Please.
It drives me nuts that when people open up the kitchen cabinets and leave them open. Now, people could say, Gail, just close it. But it makes me, it just is irritating to me if I walk in the kitchen and all the cabinets are open or the microwave sitting open.
Gail?
Haunted Gail?
No.
Yeah,
I'm going back to when I was.
This could be beyond our
No, I'm going back to when I was married, and sometimes when my favorite daughter comes, she does the same thing.
Yeah, I live.
So again, this seems trivial, but between trivial and trial, then there's like the clinical trial. And then there's like the actual trials and tribulations. There's some real serious heavy lifting and stuff going on. And I don't know how to get my message clear enough through that I didn't paint any of this way. I would have never purposely performed in any of the daily whatevers while in body in this whatever.
I lived with someone who did the same thing as well. And Gail,
Should we get over
you
it?
and I are friends. No.
No, okay.
You and I are friends. A hot dog is not a sandwich. Thank you.
But if it's torn into two pieces of bread, it is.
Sir, Tony, I don't think we have time to get into it.
Okay, all right. We do.
But it does irritate you, though, the cabinets.
Oh, of course, their natural state is to be closed. And I don't want to be bonking my head on them.
Yeah, good.
You have to be mindful. One of the tenets, settled law of our show is
Yeah.
be mindful of the work you leave for others.
Okay.
You leave a cabinet open, someone else has to close it, either through their labor or their accident bump.
Yeah. What was yours, Tony?
You tear it up.
And if that's a presidential cabinet, or if that's a presidential candidacy, and you leave these cabinet issues open, and then the next whatever inherits it, or has other things in its annals, as agenda items and point issues with the big business booming, and now succession and legacy and all stuff that the actual people in likes a democracy riding somebody else's crazy donkey doesn't even know about. Oh, well, now here we are at oops.
If it gets torn in half, it doesn't. You're still not going to ever cut it in half. You'd never order half a hot dog with a cup of soup. That's the difference.
I'm going to continue to argue this one. Fake internet judge John Hodgman, thank you very much.
Thank you very
Your
much.
honor.
Good luck on Wednesday.
We'll be
Thank
back.
you.
Sounds fun.
I'm going to be there to heckle you on the hot
I hope you
question.
will.
Here's the first Chewy commercial.
Giorgio, look, the peanut butter box is here.
Ralph, that's the Chewy pharmacy box with our flea and tick meds. It's not peanut butter.
I know, but every time the box comes, we get the peanut butter.
Yes.
Now, did he say flea and tick? I just want to make sure I got that right. Tenants in common, and then fledglings that keep fleeing some other area that they've already ruined, trying to get into other people's plays, tick them off, and stay long enough to cause some real serious damage in grassroots when it was certainly built as AstroTurf. I want to make sure I'm on the right track.
Because Mom takes the meds out of the box and puts them in the peanut butter.
Sounds like we're getting peanut butter.
Yes, but that is the Chewy pharmacy box.
The peanut butter box is here. The peanut butter box.
All right, I'm out.
Pet prescriptions delivered to your door. Chewy.
Now, there's one with a cat. It's just hilarious because it's like, all right, whatever. You can pet me. And then it's like, oh, that's enough. And it walks away. Now, here, because there's a toggle between the two topics that they got running on, like, overtime in the general unsuspecting public from what I can discern at the moment. There is a very serious religious overture that has been set in stone and should have been followed. But then there's the others that cause trouble and purposely for things outside of the scope of whatever, and then almost throw the most important, like, endangered species of bloodkin and blood type. I mean, in my situation, that's what they did. They threw me into this really hard to get out of situation and really hard to explain without setting off dynamite and, like, cascading issues, which then in that whatever, the flea and tick off everybody people really seem to rise to this devious occasion to then do all sorts of other really horrific feats.
Thousands have taken to the streets, both in support as well as to protest the Supreme Court ruling. There was a different take today at many churches in America. Here's the...
Now, the before argument was about one child and making sure one child, one goal got to where it needed to be. And it never made it to the mark on the world stage that the performance and the scenic was designed for. The set design was designed surely for this one child to make this one performance on this one date in this one certain manner. But something has gone completely wrong. And now the one child is almost just washed out away from shore. And it's, how do you figure it out in all of the water? I mean, like, ugh.
Here's ABC's Irene Shaw.
On the first Sunday after the High Court's ruling, some are calling the decision answered prayer.
I'm actually very thrilled after many, many rosaries and a lot of praying.
Obviously, as a Catholic, we believe that, abortion is not right.
But outside many churches, there is also reflection.
You know, here's my thing again with the argument in the annals and then this colostomy bag, and then I've got really loyal supporters in religion, and I greatly appreciate that in this flag system. I mean, they are to be admired, without a doubt. Problem is, the flea and tick off people are really causing quite a distract and disorient in some tactical whatever. Um, so there's this. I gotta regain my thoughts. Just give me 1 second. On the one hand, there's this. We don't want overpopulation. That's a conversation. You don't want to have 10 children with no purpose for them, no point for them, nobody to love them, nobody to care for them. It's not built into a facility that can uphold and protect them. That would be the case for what they're claiming as these abortion rights with the woman's whatever. So it, with global food insecurity and global water shortage, abortion, hysterectomy, and vasectomy makes sense. It just does. With that in mind of reducing carbon footprint, we have way too many humans and not enough whatever, not enough resources to go around. But then on the other side of this argument, it's almost like the news media took this topic of potential and have dragged it and spun it into some public display that really doesn't even coincide with other climate change and global sustainability arguments that need to be discussed and pursued in this local area. So that poses challenges that I don't even hear being postured properly, because of some kind of college farce that's going on that's really hard to stay focused and see through. There is some other cat Chewy commercial, but again, that gets like really, I don't know. I didn't really particularly care for it. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza, it's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken. It's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.